I don't understand, Bubble. They want an exit, they want answers, they want something real.
They'd rather abstract than go on your adventures. Onward!
Enough!
You really were the lesser of the two.
Humans! They won't abstract, they won't leave me! I am God!
Damn, so that's what happens when you make an AI really angry. But can you really blame the circus members for not want to suffer for eternity? Of course not. But they suffered anyways. My name is Heyo, and today we're going to analyze a new episode of the Amazing Digital Circus. I've been waiting this episode for a long time because the previous episode left so many questions to ask about everything happened before, such as who is Scratch, what happened to next after voting scene, how did Caine create it, and what does Kinger really know about all of this? As you probably know, Kinger can only think straight when he sees total darkness, and I'm glad to say that the new episode mostly answers all of these questions, so let's not waste any time and start talking about it. First scene is pretty weird. We see a red circle that's receiving more and more information about real life via images from back in 90s, and every time it receives images, the circle creates a different shape in different colors. At one point, it receives real life images that belongs to CNA office. This makes red dot to glitch out and forces to get trapped in a white box. And why it looks like the soul from Delta? Okay, I will not ask that. And while the red circle stays trapped in the box, a blue circle appears and gathers some information from other shapes. We don't know what it is, but it makes the red circle so mad that straight up breaks the box and swallows the blue one like Agario. And it glitches out and creates the circus. I think this scene explains how the circus was created. Just like how real AI companies being fed with information and gets better, this scene symbolizes that an AI has been created by all of these informations, and at one point, it almost becomes self-aware. And we see Scratch for the first time, trying to talk with Caine and some people that previously got abstracted, I believe. We also see Queenie for the first time interacting with Kinger, and I think their conversation partly confirms that they used to be married with each other, because despite both of them forgot their actual names, they remembered each other's existence. I wish we could see what they could do next. Okay, everyone's abstracted, and I mean everyone, including Kuni. And now Kinger's all alone. No wonder why he's gone insane. Then, how long? Days? Weeks? Months? Years? We don't know. All we know is everyone Kinger knew was gone. Until Regatta shows up suddenly. It's a bit funny because she literally acted like Pomni when she appeared in the circus. Just like how Pomni put on a headset on herself and suddenly appeared in the circus.
I can't figure out how to... guys?
How do I take this headset off?
I'm gonna put a side note when Caine says,
I was hoping new minds could show up.
It explains that none of those people were new minds. They all used to work for CNA at one point, they all got abstracted without a trace. Whatever the purpose of creation of this circus is, once you're stepped in, your previous life is over. Now you are stuck in a new body and forget your name. And abstraction means death. If you think too much, you go crazy and lose the reality you have. And from that scene, this is how the digital circus existed for so many years. People appeared and disappeared one by one, and those who witnessed all of those abstractions tried to cope and lost their realities as well. At least this explains why Regatta was trying to be cheerful as much as possible, because when she thinks about escaping, it scares her. There were no escape, just like how Kaufman realized this and lost his own mind and eventually got abstracted. Then we see the aftermath of episode 7. Everyone's hope had been devastated and Zubul was blaming Jax for not pressing the right button, even though she already knew it was all an illusion. And suddenly Gangle agrees with Jax and says that no matter how they argue about this over and over, it was pointless in the end. This has been followed by Pomni, agreed with Gangle and implied that they all should stop thinking about escaping and just cope with what they are, so none of them could get abstracted. Zubul didn't like this answer and mentioned that she just wanted to mark her own existence to anything. Gangle says, you made a mark in my life, and this made Zubul the hawk Gangle. At least we are now aware of Zubul's actual feelings about her life. Also we hear that Zubul still cares about Jax despite he's an asshole to her. This reply shocked Jax at first, but he decided to pretend not to care anyways. To be honest, despite everyone lost their hopes about escaping the circus, it's a bit sweet to see them to still hold on and not try to get abstracted, because they were right. Their existence is the only reason that make each other stay sane. But at the background, someone was questioning their own existence, such as Caine.
They won't abstract. They won't leave me. I won't let them.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter.
I'm better. I'm more powerful.
I'm gonna be honest, that scene really scared me out for the first time in the series. I mean, ask yourself this. You're trapped in a place where there is no escape, and there's an AI that now deadass hates you because you don't like him back. If I could put myself in their shoes, I would be cooked as well. Anyways, his insanity affects the reality of the circus and eventually Caine teleports back to the others. He instantly forced them to try new adventures and not listen to criticism towards himself, until Pomni makes it absolutely clear that no one will take part in any adventures. Her outburst makes Caine stops for a moment, and then he says this.
And since when were you in charge?
And talks about what he's been doing for everyone in the circus, which is literally manipulation by the way. Then he forces everyone to join an adventure that none of them could reject.
Seems our regime has plummeted south. Don't need to scream if you ain't got a mouth. Yeah!
Caine just tortures everyone for fun and reminds them who is actually in charge, giving a guarantee that no one, and I mean no one, can escape the circus and will be forced to join his adventures forever, which is what they did. They have been forced to join countless amounts of adventures of Caine without their consent, and based on their gestures, the crew started to lose their mind. To get rid of this feeling, Pomni suggested they should get out of open for a bit, and then we see sitting and trying to chill out in a digital cafe. Pause for a second. You see the cup that Jack's holding? It was the same cup that Ribbit and Kaufmo held, which means Jax used to hang out here with Kaufmo and Ribbit a lot. Jax acknowledges that by saying it's been a while, and while Pomni talking about what they should do, she suddenly disappears and reappears with several knives stabbed into her. If you're wondering what happened at that scene, here's the original teaser of this episode.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Pomni here is gonna perform something you've never seen before. Don't worry, my dear. You won't even die horribly. Well, I think we both had something to learn from that experience.
See what I mean? This teaser actually takes place during episode 8. Now it makes sense why she got stabbed multiple times because this is what Caine wanted. It's torturing people. After she pulled out the knives out of herself, she notices a bucket and then immediately puts that on Kinger's head, blocking sunlight off his sight. Everyone gets confused why Pomni did something like this on Kinger, but she only wants them to wait some time. After waiting for a bit, Kinger gains his actual consciousness and we can finally hear the true story about everything.
It's a little hazy, but I remember C&A.
That was just an adventure, right?
No, C&A is a real company. I worked for them. We were just developing artificial intelligence, specifically creative AI. Caine was our first semi-successful attempt at that.
You made Caine?
Partially, yes. I got a few pointers from, well, I can't remember his real name, but his circus name was Scratch. His ideas were often so bizarre and abstract that the rest of the team had no idea how to work in his language, either due to pure brilliance or the tumor in his head.
This also confirms my theory that the first people on the circus was actually C&A employers, which is Kinger and Scratch was one of them. The only problem is, we don't know why Scratch got a tumor on his head and how did he and everyone else got abstracted. All we know is Scratch was trying to make something, but we don't know that either. But this gave Jax goosebumps and he says he's gonna distract Caine so it won't find them. And then Jax himself goes crazy and realizing everything he experienced was real. Then Pomni asks to Kinger how they can stop or control Caine's actions. Because he's an advanced AI and created this place from nothing, so he can control everything. This answer makes everyone smooth down for a bit, until Kinger continues his words with,
But so do we.
This scene actually fills the gap about some of the scenes in previous episodes, such as how did Pomni find an exit door in pilot episode, and how Kinger created a butterfly to fill Regatta's health. He made this at his mind, so the others can do that too. And in the next scene, we see Pomni searching the door that she saw when she appeared at the circus at the first day in the pilot episode. And when she finds the perfect spot, Pomni closes her eyes and concentrates. And the door appears. She walks through the door. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. He just loves to humiliate them. Bubble approaches too. And Rakuta's effort to try and manipulate Kay didn't work either, as he just turns them into pins and snipes them. Yeah, he got mad for good. Meanwhile, Pomni keeps searching to find the computer. She encounters the same rooms and doors when she saw in the pilot episode, and eventually finds the computer. As the world around her started glitching, she grabs the computer equipment and leaves the scene. At the same time, Caine was trying to create a tree from humans. Yeah, he's really out of his mind. Pomni finally arrives at Kinger's game and gives the PC equipment to him. Then he asks some time to fix all of this and asks Pomni and others to keep distract Caine, tells that his actions will make Caine realize something will be off. She thanks Kinger for everything and leaves him with the work. She meets with others, which tried and failed to distract Caine at the moment. Despite Gangle says he went back to the drawing board, Caine suddenly appears and grabs Pomni, believes that she was the relatability that had been missing. But suddenly, he stops for a moment. He realizes something. This scene proves Kinger that something will ever feel Caine different and weird, which is Kinger's effort was actually working and made Caine figure it out too. Then here's a question. What's the best thing that you can do for a described highly advanced AI to block him from your escape? Because apparently cheering and lying didn't work. So what's the answer? Rage baiting. Okay, not actual rage bait because everyone's feelings over Caine was right, but that was the point. They told the truth to make Caine angry so much that he wouldn't think about Kinger again. And oh boy, that made Caine gone beyond mad. He teleports them to a place where everyone faces with their own worst fears. Pomni gets bitten by a Gomigo and other crocodiles, Rakuta's trauma that happened with their own mother, Gangle's depression and being wanted to get hit by a truck to end it all, Zubul's body dysmorphia, at least I hope I said it right, and probably worst of all, Jax's insecurity against himself. Remember, Jax's room was full of feminine furniture and he always tried to act tough against others, and I believe everyone was making fun of her feminine side at this scene. And we see the actual form of Caine, a god that's so powerful that tortures everyone for a long eternity. Meanwhile, Kingle tries to alter his code, but he accidentally pressed the delete key and while coding and
Wait.
he's just gone. Yeah, gone. His file has been deleted for good. As a result, that the entire circuit starts to glitch out and some of parts gets deleted, and at one part, he loses the computer as well. After that, Kinger meets with the rest of the crew. Wondering what the hell just happened, he just says this.
I think I accidentally killed Caine.
Holy shit.
Okay, this was peak episode. Now let's talk about what we learned from it. As I said at the beginning, now we have some answers about previous episode, but let's go through them one by one first. We learned that CNA was a real place and these guys used to develop a creative artificial intelligence. Here's my theory. They've been developing two different AIs. The red dot represents Caine and the blue dot representing Abel. And at one point, red dot managed to get more violent and trapped in a box, which it resulted that blue dot had been fed by a lot of amount of data. I believe that this made the red dot, which is Caine, really mad against Abel and killed it, resulting also glitching out and consumed the data that Abel got and caused this blue dot to turn into bubble. This is why Kinger mentioned that Caine was a semi-successful attempt, because they thought it was working without any issue, without being aware of Caine has gone insane from the start. And since Caine has all the control over Abel, he managed to trick our crew to believe there's a way to get out of from circus, and believe that they will love him back after they pick the right choice, which is staying in the circus. This made the crew think that everything was a lie about CNA, because, you know, Abel mentioned about pods and people being forced to wear the headset and stuff, which is later being corrected by Kinger himself. There were no pods. Abel was already being controlled by Caine anyway, so he altered the story. Because Caine was already delusional from the beginning, and when he realized people was actually hate him and rather to be abstracted, that was the last straw for him. Yeah, that was my theory. Now let's talk about what we missed when Kinger was doing on the computer. As I mentioned before, there are two AI files on the computer. One of them was Caine and the other one was named with multiple question marks. He clicks on Caine's files and we learned that Caine was created at October 30th, 1996. His passport is Queenie123. We see Scratch joined in 1996 and left in 1999, then Ragata joined in 2008. Which means Kinger spent 9 years all alone at the circus. Caine had his own AI defense system and we see Kinger trying to bypass it. And while Caine trying to intervene the computer as well, we can actually see a part of Kinger's real name. You can see it on the screen. I wonder if we can learn his real name at the final episode. And when Kinger misclicks the delete button, we see Caine trying to communicate with Kinger that says, "Delete this motherfucker," and actually you're confused, let me help, but gets deleted without finishing his words. So, what will happen next? I hope we can learn more answers at the final episode, but before closing the video, I want to ask this. Do you remember when glitchy said Jax and Pomni are the main characters of the show and the voice cast cried while reading the script? So here's the final thing. When a character puts a headset on themselves, they no longer remember their past, they just feel like suddenly created. Which means it makes me think like everyone in the circus are a copy of human consciousness, where there are no real escape and no return to the original human body. Long story short, we are probably gonna get a Soma type ending at the final episode. Yeah, we will just wait until the grand final. Thanks for watching, and for now, goodbye and have a good day.